Before we begin today's part of the 40 Rules of Love, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Easy Listen and Learn English. This series is full of wisdom, love, and lessons that can touch your heart and improve your English too. So don't miss the next parts, hit subscribe now and stay connected. And if you enjoy this video, share it with your friends, because love and learning grow when shared. Ella, Northampton, May 20th, 2008. Ella had a strange dream the night her husband didn't come home. In her dream, belly dancers and dervishes were spinning around, their colorful clothes flowing like waves. She saw rough warriors eating happily at a roadside inn, their plates full of sweet pies and desserts. Then, suddenly, Ella saw herself in a foreign city. She was walking through a busy bazaar, searching for someone she couldn't find. People around her were moving slowly, like dancers in a silent rhythm. She tried to speak to a man with a large mustache, but he didn't answer. When she touched her lips, she realized with horror, her tongue was gone. She looked for a mirror, desperate to see if she was still the same person. But there was no mirror anywhere. Her heart filled with fear, and tears ran down her face. Then she woke up, breathing fast, unsure if the dream was over. Ella opened her eyes and heard her dog, Spirit, scratching at the back door. Maybe an animal was outside. Skunks often made Spirit nervous, and the memory of the last time, when he got sprayed, was still fresh in her mind. She looked at the clock. It was almost 3 a.m. David still hadn't come home. Neither had her daughter called back. The fear of being left alone started to fill her heart. She opened the fridge, tempted by ice cream, but stopped herself. With a sigh, she shut the door hard. Instead, she opened a bottle of red wine and poured herself a glass. The wine was smooth and sweet, with a touch of bitterness that matched her mood. Then she noticed the label, Chateau Margaux 1996. It was one of David's expensive wines. But she didn't care. Tonight, she needed it. Tired and restless, Ella sat at her desk and opened her laptop. Among junk emails, she found one from a name she didn't expect, Aziz Z. Zahara. He wrote from a small village in Guatemala called Mamestenango, where people still followed the old Mayan calendar. He told her about a special tree in the village, a tree of the broken-hearted. People tied small pieces of paper with their names to its branches, hoping their hearts would heal. After reading Ella's email, Aziz had written her name and prayed for her peace. He said, even a small piece of love should never be ignored. Love is the water of life. He spoke about submission, not as weakness, but as peaceful acceptance of what we cannot change. His words felt gentle and wise, like a calm whisper in her troubled heart. Ella closed her eyes and imagined her name tied to that wish tree, flying softly in the breeze. For the first time in many days, she felt light, almost free. Then she stepped outside into the cool night. The moon shone quietly above. Spirit stood beside her, growling at something unseen. Both stood still, staring into the dark, feeling the same quiet fear, the fear of the unknown. The Novice, Baghdad, April 1242. In the Dervish Lodge of Baghdad, I bowed to the judge as he left and went back to collect the dirty bowls. To my surprise, Baba Zaman and the strange wandering dervish were still sitting silently, just as before. I wondered, can two people really speak without words? I stayed in the room as long as I could, pretending to clean, but soon I had no excuse to remain. When I returned to the kitchen, the cook began shouting his usual orders. Wipe the counter. Mop the floor. Wash the dishes. Every day he made me work like a slave. He said cleaning was part of spiritual training. His favorite line was, cleaning is praying, praying is cleaning. Once, I joked, if that's true, then every housewife in Baghdad must be a saint. He threw a spoon at my head and yelled, don't talk back. Be as silent as a wooden spoon if you want to become a dervish. I hated the cook, but feared him even more. And yet, that evening, I did something I had never done before. I disobeyed him. While the cook's back was turned, I sneaked out and tiptoed to the main room. I wanted to see the wandering dervish again. Who was he? His eyes were fierce, deep, and mysterious. Something about him was wild and untamed. I peeked through a crack in the door. Baba Zaman asked gently, "Tell me, Shams of Tabriz, what brings you to Baghdad? Was it a dream?" The dervish shook his head. "Not a dream," he said. "A vision. I never dream." The master smiled kindly. "Everyone dreams," he said. But Shams replied firmly, "Not I. It was part of a deal I made with God." He spoke slowly, his voice calm but strong. As a child, he said, he had seen angels and the secrets of the universe. But when he told people, they laughed or scolded him. So one day, he asked God to take away his dreams, so he would know the difference between illusion and truth. "God took them all away," he said. "That's why I never dream." Just then, he stopped speaking and turned toward the door, toward me. My heart jumped. Could he see me through the wood? I froze, unable to move. His eyes seemed to pierce through the wall, straight into my soul. Then, suddenly, he smiled and turned back. He continued, "God took my dreams, but gave me the power to interpret the dreams of others. I am a dream interpreter." Baba Zaman didn't laugh. Instead, he nodded with respect. "You are an unusual man," he said. "Tell me, what do you seek?" Shams answered softly, "For 40 years, I have wandered. I can read the stars, the trees, and the hearts of people. But knowledge must flow, like water. It cannot stay trapped. I prayed for a companion who could share this knowledge with me. In a vision, I was told to come to Baghdad. I was told you know where I will find this companion." The room grew quiet. The rain outside tapped against the windows. Baba Zaman sighed. "If I am meant to tell you, I will, when the time is right. Until then, stay here as our guest." Shams bowed deeply in thanks. But before sitting, Baba Zaman asked, "You say you wish to pass on divine truth. That is a great task, almost like stealing God's thunder. What are you willing to give in return?" "I will never forget what happened next." Shams lifted his head and said firmly, "I am willing to give my head." A cold shiver ran through me. Even the master seemed shaken by those words. Finally, Baba Zaman ended the talk. "Enough for today," he said softly. "You must be tired. I'll send the novice to prepare your bed." At that, Shams turned toward the door again. I felt his gaze burning through me, deep and knowing. Then, in a clear voice, he said, "No need to call the novice. I believe he is already here, and has heard everything." I gasped so loud it echoed through the hall. In panic, I ran out into the garden. But the cook was there, holding a broom. "You little rascal," he shouted. "You're in big trouble." He swung the broom, but I dodged it and ran faster than ever before. The night air stung my face as I fled down the dark path, my heart pounding and the image of Shams of Tabriz still glowing in my mind. I ran until I could run no more.